agriculture industry has been impacted by COVID-19. Have you been to the store recently and seen all of the empty shelves? This may have led you to think that farmers and ranchers are thriving during this pandemic, but this has not been the case. This pandemic has affected the majority of industries in the United States, and not many come close to how the ag industry has been affected. With all these restaurants and other food places closing and only doing takeout, there has been way less of demand for the supply of food that is currently moving through the U.S. economy. The agriculture industry has been hit hard by COVID-19, specifically in regards to supply exceeding demand and the shortage of labor and processing plants or fields. In order to try and mitigate the effects of agriculture, Congress has passed various bills and will continue to pass bills in the upcoming months until our economy is back to normal. According to Zippy Duvall, president of the American Farm Bureau, U.S. consumers won't have a supply of food if farmers and ranchers can't make money. People are now eating food in their homes due to restaurants, universities, schools, and other hotels closing. This has put more pressure on grocery stores and other places that sell food while consumers are hoarding and making the shelves empty. According to a professor at Iowa State University, Chad Hart, Americans have eaten out half the time and have eaten at home half the time since 2014. This is not the case nowadays, as most Americans are eating at home 100% of the time and doing takeout. The shelves with nothing on it in stores is due to people buying all of their food from stores and not from restaurants. A good example of this is the current milk supply, which exceeds demand due to closures of restaurants and all the other places. Dairy companies in Wisconsin have been dumping thousands of milk down the drain due to all of these closures. I have seen this firsthand with my dad's friend, CJ's Dairy, where he is also milking his cows and just dumping milk down the drain because he has no one to sell it to. An issue that may be present is that food retailers may be upping the prices on consumers or maybe paying less money for the goods. This shouldn't be happening in this current economic crisis. As the economy gets worse each day and the unemployment rate goes up, farmers are fearful that consumers will also buy less products. And there has also been a huge shortage of labor in the U.S. in the processing plants and fields that require hand harvest. Outbreaks have occurred in many places and many processing plants across the nation, resulting in closures of plants or a shortage of workers due to not wanting to get sick while they're processing the meat. These workers within the processing plants are having to social distance from each other, therefore the rate of processing has gone down and different jobs are being spread out within the warehouse. According to economist Michael Nepomuk, he says new policies within processing plants are being put into place, such as glass barriers and other social distancing tools. The processing line is slowed down because of this, and factories aren't able to output the amount of animals that they usually do. Another reason is due to trying to stop the spread of the virus. All of our borders have been temporarily closed. Immigrants are not allowed to come in, and visa workers are not able to come in for the month of March and April and the oncoming months until it's changed. And according to USA Today reporter Brent Schrottenberg, he quotes the American Farm Bureau, which states visa program workers account for 20% of the U.S. labor force, with the majority coming from Mexico. These labor shortages have been a problem in all crops that have been harvested by hand, for example, strawberries, raspberries, etc. Farmers are taking precautions in fields so workers don't get sick. They're breaking up workers into smaller groups, they're spraying out breaks, they're adding extra hand washing stations. And according to ag professor at Michigan State University, Duncan Booten, he says farmers have been skeptical to spend large sums of money on hired labor due to the low prices of their crops and not being able to make a lot of profit. It is really important for small farming operations to have a good profit margin so they can keep their businesses running and their families fed. For the last thing, there has been various aid packages offered to farmers and ranchers in the ag industry. One of these programs is the Paycheck Protection Program, which is helping farmers pay everyday workers who are on payroll. Another one of these programs is the Economic Injury Disaster Loans Program, which helps combat issues related to supply chains and other COVID-related issues. This bill is only viable for ag companies who have less than 500 workers on payroll. The American Farm Bureau is trying to get extended time for these payments, especially for small businesses because they're in dire need. Congress is also trying to write an entire new stage of bills to combat COVID-19 related issues in May and the upcoming months. And finally, in conclusion, agriculture is one of the biggest industries most affected by COVID-19. In specific, there has been a shortage of labor in processing plants or fields, and the supply of goods is more than the demand. If we want to lessen the negative effects on the agriculture industry, Congress has to continue to pass more bills in the upcoming months. If we unite as a country and take care of these economic issues related to the virus, we can keep farmers and ranchers in business. We need farmers and ranchers to supply the U.S. consumers with food so we can stay healthy and be energized in our daily lives. We can get through this as a nation. We got this.